Come out of executive session. Make a motion, come out of executive session.
Motion to come out of executive session?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want to notice that Jerry came?
Okay, Jerry's here.
Okay. Well, we're going to do attendance again, okay. Okay, so welcome to the town board meeting of July 11, 2023. On a roll call?
Councilman Tom Divany.
Here.
Councilman Paul Valentine. Councilman Jerry
Should we say that?
Vitari.
Here.
Councilman Brian Donahue.
Here.
Supervisor Teresa Kenny.
Here. Now, who's going to say the pledge without Paul being here? Brian Donahue, you're going to lead the pledge. Okay, ready?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a couple of announcements. We have a public hearing scheduled for July 25th on the comprehensive plan, and we have a public hearing scheduled for August 22nd regarding the zone change for Pearl Plaza, 60 Dutch Hill Road. Next we have, is Kim here?
I saw her just walking.
Oh, there she is. Come on up, Kim. We have Kim who's going to make, Kim's going to make a presentation. She's issuing the Kyle John Boyce Memorial Scholarship Committee. Are going to be presenting checks to the Parks and Recreation Day Camp for 2 children to attend the 2023 summer season. All yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Supervisor Kenny and town board members. Thank you. My name's Kimberly Allen. I'm from Tepan, and I'm here with a couple of members of the Kyle John Boyce Memorial Scholarship Fund. People are still coming in, but that's all right. We're going to move forward. We'd like to formally present a check for 2 children. Last year, we had 7, but there was only 2 kids in need this year, so we were more than happy to fill that. And we're very proud to present that to Eric Gordon to reimburse the town of Orangetown for these 2 lovely kids to go to the summer day camp.
That's okay.
Can we get a picture with the town board? You guys want to stand up? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, next we have a presentation regarding the Hudson Valley iCampus proposed zoning text amendment. So we have a screen up here with, whenever you're ready, Seth.
Okay. Good evening, Supervisor, members of the board. Very nice to be here this evening. My name is Seth Mandelbaum. I'm a partner with the law firm of McCullough, Goldberger, and Stout. Pleased to be here on behalf of our clients, Pearl River Company LLC, which does business as the Hudson Valley iCampus. This is the approximately 207-acre parcel on North Middletown Road near the intersection with 304, adjacent to a Pfizer campus. With me this evening are Jamie Schwartz, who is the president of the Hudson Valley iCampus, and Pat Cleary of Cleary Consulting, who is the planning consultant for the project. And you'll hear from Pat in a moment on an overview of what is being brought before you this evening, and we do appreciate the opportunity to make this brief presentation. I know that's a little hard to read, so I'll just sort of summarize it, and there's some maps that are easier to read. So the proposal is to ask you to consider an amendment for the light industrial LI district. The bulk of this property is in the LI district. The frontage along North Middletown Road is in the LO district. This is wouldn't affect the LO part of it, just for the LI part. To permit a couple of additional adaptive reuses that are not currently allowed on the campus, those being hotels and standalone fitness centers, only on LI lots that are greater than 150 acres, which this one is, subject to your approval by special permit. And we would ask you to file a petition if you encourage us to do so, to establish those special permit standards for your consideration and move forward on that basis. So that's just sort of a very broad overview of what we're proposing. What I'd like to do, again, I apologize, it's a little hard to read because of the light.
Do you think if you turn the lights off, you think it'd be better? I don't know.
Thank you. Pat Cleary is just going to walk you through a little bit of the history of the property, which I'm sure many folks in the community are familiar with, and then how it's evolved over the last 20 years or so, and why ownership and Jamie's group really feel this is an appropriate amenity for the campus and for Pfizer and for the area. So Pat, if you wouldn't mind. And this is working.
Thank you, Seth. I don't think the lights help too much.
A little bit, but not much.
We'll make do. So I just wanted to give you some historical context for our request, really. And this sort of shows the timeline of the acquisition or the ownership of the property. So 1907, Ernest Letterly purchased a farm and brought his pharmaceutical business to the town. By 1908, there were 40 employees on that site producing diphtheria vaccines. The business grew and continued to grow. In 1930, the property was purchased by American Cyanamid, continued to grow. The site was producing polio vaccine in the 30s and 40s, was the largest supplier of vaccines to the U.S. Army during World War II, continued to grow until that site was really the largest employer in Rockland County. 2002, property was purchased by Wyatt, 2009 by Pfizer, and in 2015, IRG purchased a majority of the site from Pfizer. Pfizer maintains ownership of a corner of that property as we know it today. So what existed on that site when it was fully operational? That site supported probably 8,000 employees. And this is an image of the site when it was fully occupied and operating at full tilt. All sorts of biomedical and technical companies are on that site today. In addition to Pfizer's campus, Pfizer also leases property on the iCampus parcel. We have Sanofi, we have Momenta Performance Materials, Oro Vaccines, Strides Pharma, a number of first-class, world-class biomedical and pharmaceutical companies are on that site today. This shows what that site operated like at full tilt. 38 buildings, over 2 million square feet of leasable gross floor area in that site, over 3,000 parking spaces. It has its own infrastructure and support. It has its own steam cogeneration plant to power the facility. As you may know, the life sciences, the biomedical field is incredibly competitive. One of the first things IRG did when they purchased the campus was to eliminate some of the buildings on the site that were old, antiquated, vacant. So those red circles show the spaces that were eliminated through IRT, sort of downsizing the campus and eliminating space that wasn't viable. I'm sorry, Pfizer did that, and I'm sorry.
I remember that.
Yep. Yep. And what exists today, this shows the campus without those buildings that have been removed from the site. And what I wanted to point out is really illustrated quite well in these images. Full operation, take a look at the parking lots today. So there's an issue with the campus. It is not as competitive as it once was with the other biomedical and life science facilities in the region. What life science facilities need to do these days is to remain extremely competitive in this field, is to provide amenities that support the laboratory space, the office space in these facilities. And if you think of what these kinds of campuses have evolved to, think of the Googleplex, think of Apple Park. Those are the kinds of amenities that are normal and commonplace in this industry today. That's not what exists on the campus today. So while the site has a very rich history, it does not have a lot of those amenities that make it competitive. So what we've asked for is to start bringing those amenities onto the campus, and that's what Seth mentioned earlier. So we have two requests, two things that we'd like to bring onto the campus. So this image doesn't show up very well because it's a little too light, but in there is the campus. Pfizer's parcel is the lower left, and there are two new uses that we want to bring on the campus. The first is, it's a yellow image that you can't really see, but it's a proposed hotel that would reoccupy space that's already on the campus today. And the second blue area is a new building, and that would be a health club, a standalone fitness center. Two new uses, one existing building, one new building. This is the existing building that we're talking about. This is building 140, I'm sorry. It's a lovely, sort of very characteristic building, and it's perfectly suited to be adaptively reused for a hotel. And what we're talking about is a very high-end hotel, and in fact, we have a tenant that would be a Hilton Home Suites hotel.
And this is, I just got a question. You want the special use permit for the LI or LO?
LI.
All right, thank you.
That's right, that's the majority of the campus in the back. The reuse of this building would occupy that space today. The red circles I showed you earlier eliminated probably almost 300,000 square feet on that campus today, so this is an instance where we're reusing an existing building. The nature of biomedical use and this industry, it's very collaborative. So a facility like this, it brings in people from San Francisco and the Cambridge area. It brings in people from all over the world, Seattle and Singapore and Munich and Paris. It's a collaborative industry. So folks are coming to these campuses. And at the moment, there's no place to stay. It's obvious that an amenity like this, a hotel on the site, is a wonderful amenity to accommodate the nature of these types of businesses today. So that's issue number one. That's use number one we'd like to add to the campus to help meet that demand. Issue number two is a standalone fitness center, a health club. So what we'd like to bring onto the campus is a new building. It would be a 200,000 square foot, best-in-class fitness center. And it would be intended to support those folks that are working on the campus. You all know how buff and ripped scientists are, so of course they need to be in a fitness center nearby. But it's the kind of amenity that makes things, that attracts the kinds of people to these facilities that they're expecting them these days. So again, as I mentioned, we've lost about 300 square feet of gross floor area. We're adding 200,000 square feet. So we're still below what the campus had many years ago.
Quick question for you. The fitness center, it would be open to the public, though? I mean,
Public-
obviously,
public
paying
facility.
public, but it'd be open to, it wouldn't be just be for people
Correct.
outside?
And you don't think you have that as of right, where it says under that district, commercial recreation establishments such as bowling alleys, dance halls, billiard parlors, driving range, and miniature golf courses?
So we spent some time speaking to the town attorney about that, and it's not clear that it's a permissible use, so we would rather clarify that by
All right.
and the second thing is adding special permit criteria that would limit it and restrict it to particularly appropriate locations. So that's what we think is a good solution for you.
Okay.
And having said that, those are our two requests to repurpose the campus. And by doing that, we think it makes it much more competitive and continues to make it perhaps the premier facility in the region if we can only bring these amenities into it to support the uses that need to continue on this site. So that's really our presentation with respect to where we want to go. 2 uses through your zoning code amendments.
Thanks, Pat. Thank you. And just to,
Yes, it's a building, you're reusing the building they showed.
That's- yeah, I wanted to make sure that was clear.
Reuse the building.
this building is an existing vacant office building that'll be adaptively reused for the hotel. The fitness center would be a new building, but over existing, over like empty parking lot. This is the building that's empty. That would be the hotel. And the fitness would be over this empty impervious over here. Over here. Yeah. Somewhere in here.
Yes,
So I just wanted to clarify, and
no, anybody can use it.
And this also would serve, as I'm sure you may know, Pfizer has had a application going through the planning board the last few months for a rather large expansion of their area. They're going the wrong way here. Their campus is down over here in this area, and they're proposing a pretty large connector structure over here that's, I believe, has preliminary site plan approval, so it's still going through that process. But Jamie's had a lot of conversations with Pfizer about their needs to be supportive of what they're doing on the campus, as well as the tenants that Jamie's been working on the last 2 years, bringing to the campus, and as Pat said, with these amenities. So with that, we're happy to answer any questions.
Can you show me what is owned by Pfizer and what is owned by your group right now? I just
Sure.
want to know who
So
owns what.
Pfizer's really this like postage stamp.
All right.
think
Pfizer
he's going too
sold
big.
the rest of this 207 acres to Jamie's company in 2015. So this corner here, it's hard to see on this map.
Yeah, I think you gave him too much space there.
I mean, this shows it on here. Unfortunately, the overlay is not great, but just flipping back. So it's next to where the hotel would be, so it's really just
Damn,
That
wow.
this
Corner.
corner.
So
I
So
didn't
here's
know what
304,
20%.
and here's Middletown Road. Right, yeah, it's about a quarter of the
So
overall.
actually, Pfizer is right, left of the building you're talking about with redacted?
Yes,
Really?
they're just to the left of where the hotel would be, which
Okay.
is why it works so well to
I
help
didn't realize they had that much, okay.
serve their people coming from all over the world as well as the general area.
So
Other questions?
process-wise, yeah, no, I did process. So I know, if, this is special permit, so presuming the town board was okay with this, the planning board still has to, right?
Right,
I'm
well,
just
you'd
trying to-
have to amend the code first to
No,
allow
no,
for
no, I
special
know, I'm
permit.
trying to
Yeah,
get
but
the
then
right-
it would go for site plan.
Right, for site plan and then so.
It's special permit from you and then site plan from the planning board.
So when we do the special permit, if we do the special permit, so the adaptive reuse of the building, are you planning on going taller than what it is, like adding on to it, or you're basically taking
No.
that building and?
It's really, here you can see on
Okay,
the,
here.
so that's the existing,
You can see himself better.
and that's the existing
Okay, so
photograph.
you're not
And
going
this
higher.
is the rendering, so you can see
Okay,
1, 2, 3, and then the bulkhead.
okay.
And then here, same thing, 1, 2, 3
Okay.
stories with the bulkhead.
It's an example of getting lucky. The building just so happens to perfectly be suited for readaptive. adaptive
Can we go back to the previous photo of the map of the property?
This,
Yeah.
the map or the
The one,
aerial?
right there.
Sure.
Can you, if you know, can you tell me what's scheduled LI versus LO on that map?
Sure, so essentially, this is very approximate, the line runs sort of across the frontage, so there's this wooded area in the
Yes, the
front
front.
that would be contemplated as primarily to stay as buffer area,
Okay.
and then when you get past this sort of frontage, everything back here is LI.
It's the edges of those parking lots.
And where's the LO? I'm more
LI
interested.
is from,
No, the LO section.
it's basically everything from
front.
here toward
Up to-
Middletown Road.
Yeah.
It just,
It's parking lots and buffer.
Yeah.
There really aren't any buildings in there.
and I'm not sure why it was done that way. I assume it was to sort of separate from, the more industrial or light industrial uses from more buffer and lab office.
Right, closer to Middletown, meaning the less intense use is closer.
Exactly, and that's kind of how it's evolved over the years.
Uh-oh. Legal minds are going at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went through that building a while ago and with IRG, and they were all labs in that big building, right? They were all mini labs, and they were being broken up for lab work.
In that building?
Yeah.
In 140?
That's the brick building, is it
That's
not?
this
Weird
one?
building, I was in it.
this is the really big one.
Oh, the one next to it.
Yeah, this is the one we're talking about that's empty, and this is the really big one they've broken down into labs, right, Jamie?
Okay, all right.
The building next to it to the left, sir, so set to the left.
Jamie, here, come up so people can hear you.
You want to come up?
I don't know.
The broadcast.
You don't have to
You
put it
just
to
hold
thing,
the
just,
green button down and then you can-
Oh, here you go. Hey, I'm Jamie Schwartz. Hi. So this is a vacant office building. This is the 60 complex Pfizer manufacturers in this building, but those are smaller labs, sir, in this building, which we just opened, put a lot of money into it. Just signed 2 full floor deals with new tenants there. This is
Oh, so then
this
it's
is
not
that
Pfizer.
big, huge
Building
manufacturing
with the
building.
labs, okay.
Yeah, it has labs, that has warehouse. This thing is.
How big is that building?
That's about 900,000 square feet. This is
That's
where
the
they.
biggest building,
This
right?
is where they did Prevnar and Centrum.
Okay.
So this is a big behemoth. It's sort of empty now, so we have to figure out what we're doing with that. We're trying to lease it. We have a couple prospects for portions of it, but this is a totally an office building.
Thanks, Jamie.
Okay.
Thank you.
So really, we just want to make sure that you're okay with us proceeding to the next step, to file a formal zoning petition over the rest of the summer, to come back to you in after Labor Day to start the process of referral out to planning and the county, and come back for a public hearing later in the fall, if the board is amenable.
So, another question for you, just for the hotel. Would they be like conference rooms for, or,
Conference space?
or event rooms, like wedding type room, or is this strictly, no, it'd be strictly hotel?
It's like a business
Business, so
hotel.
maybe, like
This
maybe,
would be open also to the public, but you don't have to go through security to
Right.
get to it. We would secure it, but, Pfizer sort of right next to it, and their expansion. If you ever, I invite everybody to come. I'll give you a tour of the campus. It's like a college campus. I can't believe how young the people are walking around that are scientists. I'm like, I don't know the scientists. It's like my babysitter. Yeah, so, but they have no, they're trying, they're being competitive to try to get talent and this kind of thing where people can stay in the hotel, plus visitors, their CEO, they travel all over, not only Pfizer, but they're building I think a 256,000 square foot new building. We've leased 300,000 square feet in the last 2 years of new tenants coming there and some renewals. So this place is starting to get some traction in order to become even more competitive. If we had a nice built-in hotel, which my company IRG has a relationship with, they've developed 4 of them, I think 3 in Ohio. They love the site. They came here. They approved the site, even though there's the Hilton Pearl River. They did the competitive landscape. We think that this would be perfect. It's going to be 100 to 110 rooms, and it would not be a conference center. It'll have like a small conference, but it wouldn't.
right,
be
not like a big
weddings
conference center,
and
okay.
things like that.
Yep. Thanks, Jamie.
Now, are these suites? Are they one bedrooms? What are they?
Well, they're going to be.
Yeah, it's
They're going to be rooms with like little kitchenettes and stuff, so so people can stay there. So I think it's called an extended stay, but it's not a long-term stay.
Because in Orangetown, you're not allowed to stay with more than 30 days.
No,
Yes.
I agree. We agree with that. And
It's pretty much the standard anyway, so.
Okay.
Okay, questions, anybody?
All right.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
We'll be back to you. We appreciate your time very much. We're going to have a safe summer.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See
Talk
you
to
in the fall.
soon. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to workshop our agenda items real quick. We have we have 2 public hearings. One is on a stop sign at Washington Street and Deirdre Street in Spark Hill. And the other is on a no parking. This is the one on Crooked Hill Road from North Middletown Road to where the condos are. No parking on that side of the road, so they're pretty, that's all, brings us to 11, right? Did I miss any, right? That's 11, 9, 10. Yep, that's all the same. This is the Orangeburg Commons, so we agreed to the zone change, now they're applying, right? Is this right?
Right, this is the actual special permit. I did send around, obviously, there's a lengthy resolution there. I made some tweaks later this afternoon, so it'll be the one with the tweaks, just some ministerial items, and also adds a few further findings with respect to county planning. But right, that would be the issuance of the actual special permit, then they would go to the planning board for site plan review.
Okay, next up, 12, we have, this is the eminent domain procedure, back to, might as well come on up, David.
You thought you'd be rid of me, but
I'm
still here.
I hate to tell you, but I was hoping I'd be ready by now.
I thought I'd beat you to it, Supervisor. Good evening, everybody. Just for the record, David Cooper, a partner with the law firm Aaron and Steinmetz, your special counsel in this matter with the Palisades Conference Center. Just give you a quick background. As you recall, we commenced initial condemnation proceedings for the site earlier in the year because the site presents significant redevelopment opportunities. Talk about redevelopment of campuses. This is one of them. but the private efforts to sell the property to a redeveloper, Reveal, has stalled. And in the interim, various public safety and health concerns have arisen, including burst pipes, discharges into the wastewater treatment plant, dumping of C&D, break-ins, et cetera. And so the town board commenced the process of potentially condemning the property. We held a series of public hearings which closed in April of this year. Under the eminent domain procedure law of New York State, the board has 90 days to adopt determinations and findings with respect to the condemnation, or else you'd have to start over again. The determination and findings are essentially your summary of why acquiring the property would serve a public purpose. It's required under the Constitution to have a public purpose before you step forward. There are findings before you, draft findings before you. Let me just state for the record and make clear, by adopting the findings, you are not acquiring the property. All this is just the backup should you decide at a future point to move forward to acquire the property. Under the EDPL, the town has 3 years after adopting the findings to actually start proceedings to acquire the property. So all we're doing tonight is adopting those findings should the board agree with them. The findings themselves lay out the reasoning for the public purpose, as well as there's a secret determination that is required. There's a negative declaration that was also prepared, because at this point, all you're studying is the potential acquisition of the property. If there's a future development proposal, right now there is no specific plan in place. Of course, that would go through a full environmental review, but at this point, you're just evaluating that taking. A little bit of a status update as well, because there have been some late-breaking news, even as I was preparing my talking points tonight. The sale of the site to Reveal is still in limbo as of right now. The site is not secured. However, as you probably know, SL Green did secure what's called a turnover order from a federal court. In other words, there's a debt outstanding that H&A, the current property owner, or a company that's associated with H&A, owes SL Green. SL Green has secured an order from the federal court to have that entity turn over the property to SL Green as part of that payoff of the debt. SL Green has indicated that they would be, upon taking title, would be immediately securing the site and resolving some of the safety issues, as well as still interested in moving forward in the PSA with Reveal. Upon securing that order, H&A had filed an appeal and obtained a stay of the turnover order. And that stay was in place even as of late as this morning. And then sometime in this afternoon, the Second Circuit, the federal court in Second Circuit, issued a decision which denied the stay and vacated the administrative stay that had been on the process.
Today, late today.
So,
Another chapter in the book.
yes, another chapter in the book. Potentially, I may come back to you next week to tell you something else. But as of tonight, in terms of the status quo, all of the facts that are set forth in the findings remain. And right now, there is no PSA that is signed that can actually effectuate the sale, and the redevelopment is still stalled. The public safety concerns are still in place. So what we would suggest the board do is review and adopt the findings tonight, because again, all that is doing is just setting you up in the event that in the future, if you needed to continue down this process, you would have the record before you. Should things change within now and three years, obviously we will be back to you. You'll be the first to know, and we can discuss how you want to proceed. But as of tonight, what I would suggest is that the board adopt the findings.
Thank you. You want to do these public
Okay.
hearings?
What's that?
Public hearings? No. Public hearings? Don't we have two?
Oh, start the public hearing, right?
Yep.
No.
He said, I think he said, should we go back and just open the public hearings, because we have two public hearings. let's get through,
Oh.
okay? No, I think we're.
Not for
thanks.
me.
No, not for you. I was like, we'll get through real quick, okay. And we'll start the public hearing, okay. Number 13 is authorizing, basically, that we can apply for a grant. This has to do with the storm system mapping grant, which Eamon, I guess, would be very happy about if we get it. 14 is certificate of sewer registrations, which is a standard thing. 15 is a drainage easement. This has to do with the Villa Drive
Yeah.
project that we're working on.
No, I remember
Yeah, this one, no.
Yeah, he came up once before.
Yeah, no, we're good on that. That's the,
they got the water problems in the backyard.
yeah, forever, right. Number 16th is authorize a tax cert settlement with Cromloy. 17th is approve the assignment of the Golf Pro Management at Blue Hill, which I think we're all talked about already. 18 is to set a public hearing on the fire prevention code. This was basically to allow, from what I understand, the outdoor fire places.
Right,
We had
this-
this thing, you could put anything, and people were putting up fireplaces, and so we're trying to make it legal, so people don't get mad at us. Okay, the budget, showmobile for Bastille Day. Anyone looking for something to do this weekend? It's Bastille Day in Piermont on July 15th. Okay. Okay, so we're going to open the public comment on the public hearings first. So this is just related to the public hearing regarding a stop sign at Dederer and Washington Street. So can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
A motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no one signed up. Is there anyone here who would like to speak regarding the stop sign at Washington Street and Dederer? No? Going once, going twice?
Move to close.
Okay, motion to close, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 5, motion to declare lead agency and determination on seekers. Resolved that the town board declares itself lead agents.
Moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye. And then number 6, adopt a local law, again, to put in the stop sign. Motion,
Motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have another public hearing, so can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so this is regarding a no parking on Crooked Hill Road from Middletown Road to where the condos are. Is there anybody here who would like to speak on the no parking on Crooked Hill Road?
That makes
Okay.
sense.
No, motion to close?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, what am I up to?
Lead agency.
Lead agency, okay. So again, to, motion to declare the town board lead agency, and it's a type 2 action pursuant to secret. Motion?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And number 10, a motion to adopt the local law regarding the no parking in that area. Motion?
Moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so now we'll go back and we'll open the regular public comment portion. Can I get a motion to open the public comment portion?
Moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so just remind everybody, we have a clock, it's 3 minutes. Just please state your name for the record when you get up there to speak. And the first one we have signed up is Mike McLaughlin. Such pressure, such pressure. I think I have his surname, okay.
Good evening, and thank you to Supervisor Kenny and Town Board for continuing to help us with our goal of securing our safety. I prayed for wisdom to address you tonight. Ask the Lord what He wants each of you to hear. Teresa, Jerry, Brian, Tom, Rob. His message was clear. He pointed to 2 specific scriptures, Esther 4:14, For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for your people will arise from another place. But you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. And in Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for the good to them that love God, and to them who are called according to his purpose. Each of you have heeded his call for a time such as this. You took your oath faithfully to lead our town and to serve our community. We're not just your neighbors, we're your one family in this community. You've heard us through the town code enforcement, through the police department, through all the complaints of what we've been enduring. Moms and dads concerned for our children's safety, families who have installed Ring cameras, security systems, and now purchased guns to protect themselves. Homeowners concerned for their property values after paying 7 figures in mortgages, taxes, maintenance, improvements. Most importantly, following the law. Neighbors who referred to our homes as our sanctuary, as our neighborhood, and the hidden gem of Orangetown. Families who chose our community because of the peaceful nature of our town. For those just learning what's going on in our neighborhood, we have an illegal club being run, selling alcohol at all hours, hookah, access to the pool, whatever you want. The visual scene is cars, vans, SUVs, unload clubgoers on our block. The music starts banging, windows shaking, marijuana smoke permeates the air for blocks. Combine Dawn of the Dead, Breaking Bad, with Michael Jackson's Thriller video, and in real life, this gives you a pure view of what we see. Lawless, reckless, chaos, invaded, violated, that's our experience. I came here a month ago, told you about Elaine Cohen. She needs to have an ambulance come in and out. We had one of these parties come through over the last 2 weeks. They blocked her in. She couldn't get out. What happened was is the officer showed up, laughed in his face. The party goer just disregarded, went right into the party. We've had parties now on 7/2, 7/3, 7/4. We asked everybody to cooperate, but right now the town has served her, the county has served her, she still continues to have these illegal gatherings. In front of you is the package that we left off for you. We're asking for 2 things for a vote, if you could, for a TRO, and also, too, to put in nuisance laws, because Stony Point had the same exact case. I spoke to Jimmy Monahan myself. A girl got shot, raped, and they had to stop it. So what they did is they put in nuisance laws. So I would ask for you guys, help us, help the police to get it stopped and to prevent it from ever happening again. We're looking for your leadership on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person that has signed up is William Quirk.
Thank you, Supervisor and Town Board members. William Quirk, 89 Sunset Road in Blauvelt. We've had some of the same issues on my block on a corner house. I'm not going to give the name or the address, but same thing. Loud parties, drugs, different things going on. If we had public nuisance laws, we could have solved the problems on my block 2-3 years ago. Thank you.
Susan McWinney.
Thank you. Susan McWinney, 66 Sickletown Road. I wanted to take just a few seconds of my time to first off just say a thank you to the building department. I don't see anyone from the building department here, but we were doing some renovations on our house. I've needed to ask them some questions, needed their help, and I just want to sort of give a shout out because they've been amazing. They're a wonderful crew over there. Next, I want to just turn to RCW. We have a slightly different situation for those of you who don't know, but we have an illegal farm cidery operating next to us, or I'm sorry, a farm winery, which is currently under a TRO. I'd like to thank Therese Kinney for her thoughtful words, and I believe that the rest of the board members, as they come to educate themselves on what is actually being asked for, will understand that this is not an appropriate situation for a residential neighborhood, no matter how wonderful it is, and it would be well-suited to be in Gilboa where they have one, or Dr. Davies, which is also an option next door to it, in the next town up. In no particular order, I just wanted to go through a couple of things that have not been addressed in the town board with the current law. Last week, we talked a lot about setbacks, but there are several other issues that are highly problematic with this. The first thing that I want to note is the legislative intent of the law. Nothing in there actually talks about the fact that what we are really talking about is a bar. I know it's been talked about as a cidery. It's been talked about as someplace that serves 100% New York apple-made cider. The fact of the matter is that it is a bar. It sells and serves every form of alcohol produced in New York State, and it can apply for a secondary license in order to serve the same alcohols produced anywhere in the world. This is flat out a bar. The definitions of farm winery and farm cidery are not complete and are grossly inadequate to understand what this actually is. Both of these licenses are manufacturing licenses that come with many additional privileges. One of these things which is not addressed, the law sets out hours of operation for both serving and for the retail liquor store. The town can't set those hours. Those are set by the county. That means that any farm winery or farm cidery who wish to do so could remain open until 4 a.m. in the morning. The liquor store could open until midnight. The one that's next door to us, as would probably any other one that chose to open in the town, would be likely to be 100% outdoor venue. There is no indoor space next door to us where these events could be held, where people could be put. They've previously used a temporary greenhouse, which is illegal according to New York State Building Department building codes. So I want to just ask that you all please study this law, speak with the SLA, think about what this actually means to our neighborhood, think about what it means to our larger community, and consider asking this to not happen here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jared Goggins?
Good evening. Members of the board, 3 points I'd like to make tonight. First of all, though, I'd like to express my solidarity with the people that are here and dealing with problems in their neighborhoods, with their homes. I think we have a common thread here, which is how do we expect the town to protect our property values, and the sanctity and peace that we expect to be able to enjoy in our homes. Because the situation that has been described here tonight is very similar to what we had a couple of years ago. Parties and music, 4 nights a week. And it's extremely disruptive, and the peace of your home is gone, and also some of the value. Okay, so let me get on to these points. First of all, there was another accident yesterday, I believe, right outside our house. This is the 3rd accident since March 11th on the stretch of road between the end of our property and the junction of Sickletown Road and Blauvelt Road, and it just goes to underline how dangerous this bend is. And this is without any events going on at the cidery. I ask you, is the cidery going to add to the safety of this area? It's not. Secondly, somebody suggested last week that we should all compromise, that we should all work out something that's, unpalatable to everybody. But I want to give you a counterexample to that. Let's say you go to bed, you come home one night, you're dog tired, you take your money out of your pocket, you have $500 cash in your pocket by chance. Haven't had that recently, but anyway. You put it on your kitchen counter and you go to bed. But a couple of hours later, you're woken up by a noise downstairs, and you go downstairs to investigate what it is, and you catch a burglar leaving your house with the cash in their hand. And of course, what do? You snatch it back from the burglar, at which point the burglar turns around to you and says, hey, can't we compromise on this? How about I take $250? Now, nobody's going to do that, right? Why not? Because the burglar is breaking the law. Because we expect the law to be upheld, because that's a common set of rules that even if we don't agree on everything, we agree to live by and respect. And that's the situation that we're dealing with. And when people ask us to compromise, it's like somebody's come in, they've done something totally illegal that's not supported according to the building department, that's not allowed under the zoning, and yet we're supposed to compromise because somehow that's a good thing to do. Well, we profoundly reject that. Finally, I want to point out one more thing. I brought up last week, very briefly, that Van Houten Farms has produced no evidence of their imminent demise as a business, and they haven't even produced any in court. And the response to that was Van Houten Farms' attorney and Darren Van Houten came up here. Darren wanted to compromise, of course he does now. But neither of them addressed a single one of the points that I'd made. In fact, there was a lot of hand-waving and talk that I believe was an attempt to distract you from the veracity of what I said. I'm still waiting to see that proof, and you should ask for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's the last person who signed up, so if anybody wants to just raise your hand. Anybody who's not yet has talked but would like to? Wow. Okay. 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 Motion to close the public portion? All in favor? Okay. Okay. Anybody want to say anything? Say anything? What's anyone say anything? Okay, so I'll say it. Okay, so just to address what the Hobbs Drive situation. So obviously, as you know, our police department is aware and our building department is aware. We did issue a notice of violation for the party that was being advertised for July 15th. I believe we learned from some of you that the party has been canceled, or at least that's what the email said, or removed, I should say that. So at this point, we're going to, again, police are on it, the department's on it. I continue to ask everybody, to be vigilant, but I have to say that the police department a lot for things that don't rise to the level of anything they can do. There's not a lot of people, the owner's there, the music's not loud enough, whatever. So I would just say to use a little discretion when you're calling. I mean, we all have people in schools in the afternoon. And it's, we live in a world with laws and due process, and our police can't go back there and start asking for DNA and seeing who to. But we're on it. I'm happy to see that there was no parties this past weekend, from what I heard. Owner clearly, the Rockland County Department of Health has also been in touch with them, because if you have a pool and you use it for any kind of public purposes, you need to obviously have permits and licenses. So the pressure's coming from all angles at this point in time, and we're hoping that it's been successful. As far as the TRO, we just went into court and got a TRO against the Armoni Hotel down the street. We know what you need to get a TRO, and I'm sorry to say I don't believe we have it. Town attorney for 23 years before I took this position. I know it sounds good, and I'd love to be able to say, yeah, we're going to do it, but there's a line we have to follow, and one has to be, we have to be able to substantiate. It is a criminal charge when we start bringing these charges, so it's beyond a reasonable doubt. So we're working on it. I let the lawyers who get the big bucks to do the legal analysis. We'll continue to look at it. When they think we have enough, we all have expressed a willingness to go to court. 100%. We did it with the hotel. We're more than willing to do it again. But we also have to watch that line of not being at a point of, almost, I don't want to say harassment, but, from what I understand, the police are getting called a lot and are finding nothing there. And that doesn't help anything with our foils to see that cops are called over and over again. And they're saying that there's no noise, a couple cars, So I just, to use discretion when you call in the police department, by all means do. If there's parking issues, if there's noise, if it's, a lot of people, if you think there's, again, just use discretion. Because seeing a lot of police calls and nothing being found doesn't help our case.
And to add to that, I reviewed the Stony Point law. I don't have a problem. Actually, I would support passing that law. We do have a lot of it already in the code, but I think the rest of the board would support, putting that up for a vote and having a public hearing on it and voting on it. But in speaking with the town attorney, a lot of what's in that law we already have in the town code, and we'll pass it, and I just don't know if it's the magic pill that everyone thinks it will be, but it will give us more tools in the toolkit, so I think everyone on the board would have no problem having the public hearing and voting for it. But again, I don't know if it's going to be a lot more than what we have, but the more we have, the better.
Yeah, agree. I think that if the law is there, it's a one-stop shopping. We don't have to search one place or another. Like I said, Bob looked through it, and he said a lot of what's in there is in different places of our code now, but putting it all in one place doesn't hurt any. I would support that as well.
I'll third that, but just want to make all of you aware that this is being addressed. It's an ongoing investigation, so there's not much we can say, but we're dealing with it via email, and our town attorney and our supervisors dealing with it. It's being addressed, so just want to reassure.
But I will just remind everybody that every email you send is a public document. So just, again, not that some of you don't need to be warned, but just keep in mind that it's public and, you know,
Foilable.
it's foilable. And so, you know, it's just something to be, something I've learned through the years, is to be careful what you say. Sometimes it can be taken out of context or whatever in an email. So just be cognizant of that, that it can be foilable by anybody. So, Mr. Magrino, anything to add?
Just the one clarification, what the proposals that are in the nuisance law, not all town code, there's some of the state code, you know, it
Right.
mentions they have to follow the state code, well, you have to do that, county code, et cetera. So, again, many of the things are covered, but again, I leave it to the board how it wants to handle that going forward.
Okay, on that. Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute adjournment just to let everybody take a breather, and we'll be right back. Let's go, let's go. Okay, okay. I believe we're up to number 11.
Yeah.
Okay. Come out of break? Can I get a motion to come out of break?
Second.
What do you mean a break? What does that even mean?
He just wanted to second.
Oh, I'm out of break. As soon as I say we're on number 11, people know we're out of break.
No one did a first or second.
Right. So we never went into break, so I'm not coming out of break. Oh, shit, okay. I forgot, we're out of break. Okay. Number 11. So this is the approved amendment to the special permit for Orangeburg Commons.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You got
You're
that?
good. You're welcome.
I didn't even see you sitting there.
She just snuck in.
She was like, that was anticlimactic.
Good night.
If they ask, you're here to 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. Available hours. Okay, so number 12, this is the determination findings regarding the eminent domain. So yeah, Rob and I, just for the record, did just get that email today about this, the circuit court not denying it, but, you know, upon the attorney's advice, we're going to move forward, and hopefully this is the end of what we have to do. But anyway, so can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Brian, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Number 13, can I get a motion to authorize the submission of an application to apply for a New York State DEC
Moved.
grant? Moved. Tom Divany? Jerry Vitari, all in favor?
Aye.
You can tell Eamon, you're welcome. Number 14, approve the 2023 certificate of sewer registration to, Macaudy Excavating Corp. Motion.
Moved. Name seems familiar. Moved.
It does seem familiar, doesn't it? Is there like
Yeah.
a street or something like that in town or something?
I don't
Okay,
know.
Tom moved, who seconded?
Yes, sir.
Jerry, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion to accept the temporary and permanent drainage easement for 19 Villa Drive in Nanuet.
Move.
Second,
I'll second.
Brian Donahue, all in favor?
Aye.
Booch.
Number 16, approve the settlement of a tax certiorari proceeding with Chromalloy.
Moved.
This is one of the bigger ones we've had, but anyway. Tom moved, second.
Second.
Jerry Vitari, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 17, approve the assignment for the license agreement from Applied Golf to Troon Golf. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Brian, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Set the public hearing date for the fire prevention code to repeal the thing about the fire pits or whatever.
Motion.
Jerry Vitari, second.
Second.
Brian Donahue, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 19, declaration of intention of town board to serve as lead agency pursuant to secret regarding the repeal of the fire prevention code provision. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
I'll second.
That was Brian. Donahue, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Oh, approval of the 2022 final budget line adjustments.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 21, approve lend assistance of the showmobile for Piermont Bastille Day this weekend. Motion?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor? That's a fun day if anybody wants to go down.
It is.
Number 22, accept, receive, and file documents in the town clerk's office. Motion?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
On the audit? Taking a nap over there, Jim?
You weren't ready.
Did anyone get the guy from 59 Sunset? Did he ever file any complaints? He said there.
No, I was going to say, and he didn't want to give the name. I'm like, well, it's hard for us to.
Thank you.
So he was from 59. He didn't tell us who the house is.
No, he didn't.
He was 89. Yeah.
But he didn't say who was.
No.
All right. If he doesn't want to give us a name or,
I mean, that's the first I heard of it, but anyway.
yeah.
Okay, tonight's audit consists of 3 warrants for $2.9 million. First warrant had 26 vouchers for $48,000 and was for utilities. Second warrant had 247 vouchers for $307,000 and was for Medicare reimbursements for the first half. The third warrant had 148 vouchers for $2.5 million. Items of interest, number 1, A&J Construction, $54,000 for the painting at Broad Acres Golf Course. Number 2 and 3, the applied golf contracts. Number 6, N-Tech, $314,000 for Bite Lane drainage system pipelining. Number 8, Fanshawe, $399,000 for the new town hall electrical. Number 9, Fred Devens Construction, $143,000 for Tier 4 pump station repairs. Number 12, Keenan Bean, $44,000 for outside counsel. Number 16, S&L Plumbing and Heating, $179,000 for new town hall HVAC. Number 17, Schultz Ford, $56,000 for an electric vehicle.
For my computers.
That's
Was it
grant
Mustang?
money.
But now, that we got grant money for that, this should really reflect that.
That's what I said. I said we got grant money.
What kind of car is it?
It's the Mach, yeah. Yeah,
That's the Mustang?
yep.
That's the one we were driving. Craig tried to sell me that. I was like, I'll run out of electricity many a times.
And finally, Vanis Construction, $897,000 for the new town hall
They said it was
GC.
good. Did you drive it? You test drive it?
Me and
My
Brian,
dad is gonna drove it.
that's the one
and
we
he
had at
said
the
it
golf
was really
outing.
cool.
That was the golf outing
I'm
car.
afraid to drive it. He told me that it picks up really, I may need a helmet when I'm driving it or something.
I let Brian drive it. I didn't want to get in trouble if he broke it.
Oh, God. I drive like an old lady, so.
I felt I was in the Tron movie with that thing.
I think it's probably taken for, I haven't even heard who it's going to, but anyway.
That thing is
Okay, motion to
sick
accept the
car.
audit.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
That is a sick
Okay,
car.
so we do have an executive session to discuss land sale where it might affect the value. We have 2 adjournments. Ruth Ellen Carlson, she's a retired longtime employee of the assessor's office. She's had a long time. And then Ruth Weber, a resident of Upper Grandview. So we are going to end executive session. We are not going to be voting on anything when we come out. So can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second? I think he moved. Jerry seconded. All in favor?
Aye.